So I chose to do my video over geoboards. Concentration, grade concentration would be 5th grade. So I started off by finding probably the purpose of these. They have multiple purposes. They could teach part-whole relationships, comparing fractions, using them to have just a hands-on or a visual of the relationship between fractions, and then also teaching area, and also like transformations of shape. So yeah, I chose those are all things that probably 5th graders might use this board for. If you look down here, you can change the board and what it looks like. I started off with this because one of the domains I chose this for was measurement and data, and I said that we could use this for finding area and teaching students about area. And then also other domains I chose was deep geometry, algebraic thinking, multiplying fractions, and yeah, so I chose those ones. And here would be a great example of how you could give your students a visual representation of part-whole fractions. This is also neat because with hands-on geoboards like the physical ones, it's probably really difficult to show your students in the classroom, but if you put this up on the projector, this app, you'd be able to work along with them. So for instance, with this, you might tell your students to make an entire circle, and then down here you can press these buttons that will fill in the circle and unfill the circle. So then they can really get an idea of this is an entire circle with an area inside of it. Next, you can have them drag rubber bands to fill up maybe half of the circle, and then have them again with this button unfill or fill in this half of the circle to show them that one half is part of a whole and it is half of a whole. And then another example I had was with this. I thought this would be just a great idea to use for just simply teaching your students about different shapes. So when they start learning about geometry, maybe something with triangles, the different type of triangles, you could use this to label the triangle sides, or you could say create an isosceles triangle or an obtuse triangle, or stuff like that. And you could also use this for if you could ask them to create maybe a trapezoid and then ask them how many triangles are within that trapezoid. Something like that, I was thinking. Have them experiment with that. Another idea I had for area would be if you could have your students visualize or just think in terms of each each square on the board. So like right here, this square, one square would be 1 inch, 1 square inch. And then you could ask students like how many square inches are in there, how did you find that, is there any simpler ways, or is there a shortcut we can use? And then maybe they would times like these squares by the horizontal squares by the vertical squares. So you could really introduce the concept of area with your students by doing this, and even perimeter. Going back to this, you could also use this to practice multiplying fractions. Right here, you could use this by saying like what is 1/2 times 2? Students can create 1/2 on here and have a visual of what a half looks like, and then imagine timesing this by 2. So maybe they'd color in this side and then visualize another circle. Other than that, I thought this would be a great way to implement in your classroom, especially because they're fun and kids love them. This app's pretty neat too, especially because you have all these different rubber bands, and obviously kids love using the iPads.